So Al, let's talk a little bit about how you ended up in the industry and your journey to this point.
Well, going back about, showing my age here a little bit, but going back about 16 years, I think. My previous life, I was in sales and marketing. And when that came to an end on the project we were working on, I took a bit of a sabbatical. And it was actually my father-in-law that suggested I look into this industry.
Okay.
So one thing led to another, ended up at an interview at our previous home. And that's where I got to meet you as well. And fortunate enough, I mean, we hit it off like a house on fire.
We did. And I remember the very first client meeting we did together was just down the road, actually.
It was.
And it was actually by industry standards, quite a juicy client, so to speak.
It was.
And it was a mate of yours, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, family connection.
And yeah, it was actually kind of strange. It's like you were one of the guys, because you ended up in my sort of mentor program at the time. I've been in the industry a little bit longer. And I remember just thinking that, you just oozed confidence. And it was such an easy meeting, even with him at that point in time.
Sure.
And I don't think we actually did many thereafter. So you bucked the traditional trend as well, in terms of going through the...
I dived in, obviously, through the good mentorship that you gave me. And since then, I think we just clicked and live a very similar life in terms of family and those kind of responsibilities and the integrity that we have. And love you like a brother. And fortunate enough to be here now alongside you.
So I've got two questions for you on that, right? So what made you decide to get into this industry outside of your family pushing you towards it, so to speak? And then at what point did you decide that the previous home wasn't your home, and why?
So, to be brutally honest with you, when I really initially started in the industry, I wasn't quite sure what it was all about. It took me a while to really wrap my head around the industry at large. And once it sort of clicked, once I fully understood it, I really then committed myself to building a career in the industry. And talking about the separation from our previous life, so to speak, to where we are now, that was, I reached a point where I was hugely frustrated. I think we chatted about it from time to time. I just reached a ceiling where I needed to do more. I felt I had it in me. I wanted to do more. And I also have an entrepreneurial spirit, as you do. And in the space that I was in, I couldn't tap into that. I felt like I was squandering that. So I said to myself that, but I needed to make the break. I needed to make the change before I turned 40.
In fact, I do remember you mentioning it to me at a point.
Yeah.
And the one thought that came to mind was kind of like, no, he can't leave. He can't leave without me.
I remember you phoning like,
yeah, which I suppose was the start of our journey together outside of that. And some of the frustrations that you had in that space, and what made you want to get out of that particular, I suppose, again, space that we were in.
It was very, what's the right word I'm looking for, the right term? It was very one lane, one channel, very almost repetitive in a way. I mean, the planning side of what we were doing was different with every client, but we had it was the same medication, and it was a limited shop that we could go into, a store with limited goods.
Yeah. And I think the beauty is we both knew, without even having a discussion with one another, that there's more to it.
Yeah.
There's more that we can do. There's more that we can extract. There's more that we can give.
And also to have the freedom to, if a client comes to you and says, this is really my problem, I need a solution, to be able to go and put something together that's possibly out of the norm. It really excites me.
And that certainly is something that we've done, I believe, quite well. It really is planning out of the norm. It's not traditional in so many senses. And then, I suppose landing on edge. I mean, we had a is tumultuous the right word for it? I don't know, start. or a bit of a whirlwind start.
Designing our first logo at your
Oh, that was
gazebo,
hilarious. Yeah.
the gazebo by the
Yeah.
pool.
Yeah, it's amazing that when that third whiskey sort of hits, all of a sudden the creativity comes out of anyone. And it was actually Matthew that put the final little touch on the logo, and we were like, "That's our logo.
That's it. We're done.
Done and dusted."
Yeah.
And then pull in Ed.
Yeah. And then
And we decided to get a little bit more professional.
from the honey badgers. We said, "There's no chance you're going to change this. We're set."
Yeah. Are you guys open to changing your logo? No. This was a lot of hard sweat and tears that went into it.
But that was also a fascinating journey with Ed as well, when he said, "Right, we need to try and unpack your heart."
You say fascinating. I would say frustrating.
It was, but the
because
outcome was fascinating.
It was, but it was kind of like, how many questions do we need to answer? It was like a 3-month
It
process.
felt like I was back at school.
Yeah. But the coolest for me was when Ed decided that he needs to present. And I don't know if you remember, but it was at his house. And we stuck it up on the big projector. And he said, "No, this is not right. It needs better color. Have you got another TV screen?" and then we ended up sitting in front of the TV, and he was like a kid in the candy store presenting. And we were still kind of like, "No, we're not convinced yet about changing our logo." And I remember him running through the process, and I think you made the comment saying like he almost got emotional because what he was saying, what he had extracted over that 3-month period is exactly what was in our heart in terms of what we want to create and what we want to do, the vision, the mission.
And what were the two profiles that we landed on?
Gosh, I can't remember the categorization. Every man or everyday
man and the sage.
Yes,
I think it was.
Don't ask me what they were.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Because we felt that we had a lot of advice and wisdom to pass on. We wanted to share, but we also wanted to be approachable.
Yeah,
and be for the everyday person,
every day
to speak.
Yeah. And it was kind of magic. I mean, when he ran through that presentation, there was the emotion attached. It's kind of like this oak's reading our brains, which is really cool. And then obviously at the end, when he dropped the logo, it was kind of like, "Oh, done deal. It's changed. Logo's done." Color scheme was good. I mean, Ed really just, he really captured what we were trying to do and what we were aiming for. And then, obviously, and then Ed started on trestle tables and
that was it.
Doors, trestle feet and doors as desks.
It was kind of like you're driving the car, but you're also trying to attach the steering wheel.
Building the plane while you're flying it.
Yeah, building the plane while you're flying it. It was exactly how it was. And then we had doors as with trestles as tables. I remember you working here on the computer with around all the stuff that was arriving in packets and packaging and whatever. And as I said,
and the girls saying, "Please give warning before you get under the desk to do wiring because some of them had dresses on."
Oh yeah. I think it was 4 of us to start with, and we're just shy of 2 years in, and I think the team has now grown to
17.
Yeah,
with the latest edition.
Sure.
Yeah, which is really, really cool. And I mean, at the heart of something with what Ed had pulled out of us, which, to the point, it really spoke to who we are as individuals, I believe.
100%.
And then also what we're trying to create there. So I suppose what differentiates Edge from every other brokerage, in your opinion?
The massive factor for us, I believe, is the fun aspect.
Yeah.
Having fun in the day-to-day. I mean, think about it. You go to work, how many hours you pour in at the office. The industry at large has that sort of a stigma attached to it. But you can have fun. You can have fun in everything you do. You can have fun with your peers in the office. You can have fun with your clients, and just enjoy life. And I think that's really a big part of what Edge is about.
Yeah.
So Al, tell me about, we've spoken about it before. I think we see so many advisors just being treated poorly in a difficult situation. I think we both are very kind and helpful people. It's just in our nature. And I think that extends into what we're trying to do here and the difference that we're trying to make. So maybe unpack that a little bit.
Yeah, and I think to your point, I think it was almost a bit of a concern in the beginning, although it certainly was for me, and I know we've spoken about it, where I said that we are so similar that I was worried that don't you need like a bit of a yin and a yang in a business? But I think the beauty of that now, having some years behind us already, is that it's actually worked out incredibly well because we're singing from the same hymn sheet just because of who we are as individuals, which I think is knowing now what we've been through. I think it's a massive strength. And it talks to the type of people that we have around us as well. We haven't intentionally gone out and looked for good quality people, so to speak. It's kind of just what we've attracted.
Yes.
Which has been really, really magic, I think. And I mean, it's created the culture. It's created the feeling. I mean, I remember pretty much sitting where you are right now, and I had my mom and dad here the one day, and a client that had moved to Colombia was coming out, and he was coming to see me, and he arrived a little bit early, and I was having a conversation with my mom and dad, and my mom and dad wanted to leave, and he actually insisted, no, sit. And we had a bit of a 5-minute conversation. And I remember walking into the boardroom to now start our meeting, and I mean, he used a bit of profanity when he said it, because I think it was just with passion, but he just said he absolutely loves the feeling he gets in this place. Which is the heart of who we are.
Yeah.
And to your point, it's that advisors are just, they frankly mistreated in this industry. It's actually, I find it unthinkable. Like, how do you build a business over decades and you walk away with a crisp high five? It's just not right.
And a pen.
Yeah, and a pen. Yeah, it's just not right. So, yeah, I think landing on I don't know about you, but certainly when we started this journey, there was a bit of an idea, but there was so much new for us to explore.
There was.
I mean, we've just become the proud owners of an asset management business. That was certainly not in my mindset 3 years ago. And I mean, we've spoken about it a couple of times. We could have done this on our own, or rather, when I say could have done, we could do this on our own rather than building this team around us. But I think there's some pleasure.
Yeah, there is. And I think that talks back to, we see everywhere just unhappy advisors.
Yeah. And I think that's probably what's really resulted in us going, hold on, we can't be selfish with what we now know. Let's get everybody pulled into this, and because it's really a cool space.
It talks to sort of our tagline, if you like, financial freedom for all.
Yeah.
Financial freedom for advisors and for the clients. But I think as well, my feeling is that people have been watching. People have been watching to see what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And, the naysayers, it's going to fall apart.
Yeah, there was doubt.
Yeah.
There was doubt.
Which is natural.
And I suppose it does. It gives a bit of energy to well, you got to make it happen. Yeah, I suppose traditionally speaking is most of the guys, and we know from years gone by that have left the bigger organizations tend to work from a home office or sort of blend into the background, and a lot of them actually fall out of the industries.
Lonely.
So I suppose that was the expectation to a degree, that we would end up working at a home office, but here we are.
And what's been really cool, Al, is that I mean, I think we understood, we followed our heart, we understood why we were taking this step, but where we've arrived at, I mean, looking back over the last close to 2 years, we would have thought, we would be here now, and up and onwards from here. We're both entrepreneurial. We're looking for opportunities, but we very we share. We do things the right way, I believe.
I think on the point of entrepreneurial is we're also trying to bring out the entrepreneur in others. We're not afraid. I mean, we've had a new staff member who joined in a basic administrative role. She's been elevated very quickly into more of a building a division role. But I think also importantly, our people's opinions matter.
100%. I mean, case in point, take the other day. We had a new staff member who was considering joining us. Was it 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, ultimately declined the offer due to the working hours, because
single mom,
that extra half an hour, it didn't allow her to get back in time to fetch her child.
Which got you thinking.
Which got me thinking, got us thinking. And we both very quickly arrived at the point to say, well, actually, the family is really important, and if we empower and we trust our team to get what they need to get done, and within the time frames, they can get home to their families and their loved ones sooner.
Yeah, and I think it talks to that you spend most of your day around your work colleagues and in your office environment. So I think we've done well in creating an environment that's fun and comfortable. It feels like home.
But just to add on there, so that inquiry for that staff member resulted in us changing our entire working hours.
That's right.
And
That's right.
What's it now? So ending half an hour sooner, Monday to Thursday, and even sooner on a Friday. Because let's get real. Right at the end of the day on the Friday, it's a bit of the graveyard shift.
You got to practice what you preach, I suppose. So it just confirms.
It's not about clocking in and clocking out. It's about productivity.
No, and it's having happy people. That's for sure. Yeah. And then if we had to fast forward a little bit, and you go, okay, it's been a crazy ride for the last couple of years. If we had to look into this little crystal ball and go, well, what does this look like in your mind in the next 5 years?
Besides taking over the world, I think we need to focus on the building where we are right now before getting it too ahead of ourselves. Just continue on the growth that we are in the area and the space that we are. I mean, we're in a beautiful part of the world, in a beautiful part of South Africa. And actually our position being in the Upper Highway area talks to serving clients all the way up through to the Midlands, as well as all the way up to the North Coast and the South Coast. Quite well placed for that. But I think more to what you're asking is, naturally, as we mentioned earlier, the phone is starting to ring and inquiries are starting to come in faster from advisors on their own accord, that's going to spill over beyond the greater Durban area.
And I tell you, something that's starting to scare me a little bit is we've kind of sort of benchmarked it, where we said if we can get 15, give or take, quality advisors or advisors trained up to a point where everybody's just very good at what they do.
Sure.
I'm almost afraid that because this phone is starting to ring and there's a lot more sort of people asking the questions, is that we're going to A, run out of space.
Yeah.
And B, do you then lift that number where you go, okay, hold on, let's take on more? And then my fear in that would be is that taking on too many, you're going to lose the core, which I think always happens when it gets too big.
Sure. That's something that we're going to have to manage as time moves on, but that's definitely a real concern.
It's not going to be nice turning people away.
No, and it's not in our nature to turn people away. Yeah. So I think in that the focus that we have and we need to continue to focus on is, and you've raised it before, is that kind of Starbucks mentality around the system, the infrastructure, the support, the training, all of that we can introduce into our team's lives, which will allow us to expand beyond our area and maintain that culture and maintain that level of maintain the fun and maintain that level of skill and honesty and integrity in the process and the engagement with our clients.
Yeah. I think to the point of family values, somebody actually pointed it out to me in one of our partnership days that we had, where we actually did the paddle day.
Yes. What a great day.
It was a fun day.
Some interesting skills.
People were terrified to start with. But I remember at sort of the back end of the day, Kirsty was sitting there with her new baby. And he mentioned, like, you guys are doing something very different because it's out of the norm to have families and little babies crawling around at if you wish, a business day or a company day.
Sure.
And it wasn't even a thought. It wasn't even
didn't even cross our minds.
Which is really cool. And I think that talks to the fact that we are about family. And it's not only the people that we work with or alongside, it's also the families that we deal with on a daily basis. And there's also got to be longevity in that.
Oh, certainly. Looking long term, I think, I mean, for example, your kids have shown some interest in getting in the industry. My kids are too young to really comprehend what's going on, but I'm sure one day they might knock on the door.
It's the continuity. It's the ability for the next generation to take over from where we're going. Our intention is not to build and sell.
Yes.
Our intention is to build and keep building, and then for the next person to step up and step in, to your point.
But also for that to have a real impact, to your point, we need to build and continue to build for it to have a real impact in the industry and really make the change that we're striving for.
Yeah. So I think, El, if you, in my mind, if you fast forward 5 years from today, is that we've got a business that is, it's got legs in it. It doesn't. There's no end point. It's handing over this baton to the next generation to continue with it. I would love to see Edge become a icon in the area where people are saying they need to deal with this company. They want to work within this company. And it's just to create a different type of legacy, something that people can be proud of. When you mention Edge, or I'm dealing with an Edge financial advisor, it needs to have a connotation that's positive rather than negative.
But we need to get it out there, El, and I think that talks to what we're doing here today. Is we've got a voice and we need to be heard.
Yeah.
So importantly as well for youngsters looking to enter the industry, if they've heard of what's getting done differently here, it might make them question or potentially save them from making the wrong decision.
Absolutely.
And getting trapped in a space that we know is wrong.
Yeah, I suppose there's a responsibility to shout it from our soapbox, so to speak, is to say, yeah, before you jump in, just let's have a conversation.
100%.
Yeah.
I love that.